Little late. Little late. Hey, we are live. Slightly late. But yeah. Happy Wednesday.
What's going on? I'm waiting for the sound to kick over here on YouTube so I don't catch echo.
And we already got 4 people in here. Ooh, Oz already been in here yelling in case he didn't get to join in later. Howdy, ooh, howdy to all the lurkers that are out there. Man, it I did a thing. I did a thing over the weekend, and I don't know why anybody would want to travel to a third world nation to go on vacation.
Thompson, RC Cape Cod.
Thompson, Cape Cod, what's happening?
The old man.
I had this talk with a friend of mine over a decade ago. Him and his wife got married. They went to Mexico for their honeymoon.
Well, everything's cheaper. Okay.
Well, but it sucked. Their whole trip was just one series of shit show after shit show. It's like 45 minutes drive from the airport to their resort.
Okay.
We got to the airport. Taxi took off.
Hang on.
Uh-oh. JB's totally not got the police at his front door right now. To watch, it's going to end up being somebody. Sir, we've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
No, apparently you can't talk shit on Horizon or Proline today.
Oh, why? Was that the police? Watch it, JB.
We know about you.
Today.
No, that was actually where the HOA maintenance guy came and knocked on my door. Whatever. No biggie.
It's fucking Wednesday. You should know better to be here on live show day.
Need a sign out there.
But anyhow, yeah, I mean they just kind of had a miserable trip. The resort was nice and all, but like everybody that worked at the resort, like every time you were around a corner or something, they were trying to sell you drugs. And he was like, my buddy was like, I could have gone for the amount of money that we spent going to that place. We could have gone to, we could have gone to Hawaii. We could have gone to someplace else, but I wouldn't have had to leave. I didn't have to leave the country. And so this weekend, the family and I, we went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And what an absolutely pleasant place to visit. We live 5 minutes from the beach. I've lived 5 minutes from the beach almost my entire life. So it was very normal having the beach around. Now not having the beach around, it's kind of weird, but my wife more misses the ocean than I do necessarily. So we just wanted to go to the ocean. So we wanted to go someplace that was like fun and cool and like vacation-y. And
right, because I mean, basically, you lived in California forever and ever and ever. Now you've moved to the middle of you're landlocked now.
I'm landlocked.
You're fucked. And so, yeah, it's like, hey, I want to go see so you say Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, I think that's funny because Myrtle Beach, California, correct?
Yes.
You know that somebody just got shot there. It's like you're like, it's so peaceful. I'm glad it was peaceful on the East Coast, because on the West Coast, people were getting shot up. Apparently,
we're gonna get into that later. But Myrtle Beach, South Carolina it really is quite a pleasant place. It's a very nice beach. I mean, the for miles and miles and miles, there's hotels that are built right onto the beach. Every single hotel has like chairs and umbrellas set up, so you just walk out there and sit them. The hotels don't care if you walk out there and sit in one of their chairs with one of their umbrellas or whatever. But then they have, boardwalk where they got all kinds of restaurants and arcades and goofy shit for people on vacation to do. And it was just nice. Now, it was especially nice because it was kind of empty because it's not really summer anymore. Kids are back to school. So it's not like, wasn't like super, super busy. So it was quite nice for us to just go there and kind of want to hang out at the beach for the day and then come back home. And as we were driving home, I was talking to my wife, like, all the places that we've gone to and where we've gone to visit for a day or stayed for a weekend or something like that, that has been back, that's been here in the U.S. Um, I have constantly thought back to that conversation that I've had with my friend where he was like, I paid thousands of dollars to go stay in a third world country where I was miserable and scared because there people being murdered left and right. It's like, they specifically tell you, don't leave the resort. Don't leave the resort lest you're in one of our tourist buses because our tourist buses don't get shot at by the cartels. He's like, paranoid driving around here in Mexico with my new wife on my honeymoon where we're supposed to be happy and, in the hotel room. And he was like, yeah, it just wasn't that pleasant of an experience. And I'm thinking like, yeah, why do the, before you go spending money on going to you know, some bullshit vacation resort or some bullshit vacation spot because some Instagram person took a bunch of pictures. They're like, oh, it's beautiful here in Bali. And take a look at places you can go to right here where, it might even be within driving distance
In
or
America.
it won't cost you $1,500 one way per person to fly there. And then, you get there and you're like, oh shit, wow, yeah, it's really beautiful here. But, you know, what they don't show you in all those Instagram pictures is that it's not, empty beaches and all of this. There's actually millions of people there. They just manage to angle the camera or they go out and take pictures at 5 o'clock in the morning so that you don't see all the people there.
Oh, dude, I've seen this. Even like you said, I've been around social media long enough to know, as an influencer or whatever. Like, you ever see those videos? Yeah, where they're in an awesome spot and there's nobody there. Do you know how long they had to wait for that shot, or how many people walked by and got in the shot before they got? I mean, like, seriously, dude. Like
that. I mean, it's like people. You see pictures of people at Disneyland standing in front of the castle, and there's nobody around. So there's actually specific times when you can go and wait in line. It's generally when there's a parade's going to happen or the fireworks show is going to go off, where they actually shut the castle down so you can't go through there. And for a couple hours before the parade and the fireworks show, they shut it down while they're doing all the setup. Well, while they have it shut down, they put their photographer there and they shoo all the people off to the side so that you can stand there and take a picture. $75 for your picture in front of the castle with no people in front of it. There's a trick. If you go off to the side, either one of the sides of the castle, there's a path that goes around the outside of the castle. If you go over there and stand there and take a picture, there's generally nobody there.
Right.
You don't have to pay $75. And
Cape Cod calling me out.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, I am. I don't know.
Yeah, it just like I just after when we drove across country when we were here, moving here, and we didn't really take any time to stop and see anything because we were just in a mad dash here because we had to sign papers for the house. So we didn't get to stop and see things. And then when we got here, we were like, yeah, there's probably things that we're obviously not going to drive 2/3 of the way back across the country so that we can go see some of the things we missed.
Right.
That we wanted to see while we were driving here.
But Las Vegas, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore. I mean, there's all kinds of things between there and there.
And it was like, there's when I kind of sit back and think about, man, the next time I want to go on an exotic vacation somewhere, I could go to Florida. If I want tropical, I can go to Florida. If I want to go to a big shitty city where I'm probably going to get mugged, I can go to New York or Chicago.
It's true. Yeah, that's how. It's like,
I mean, you go into New York, I would say New York probably checks off a lot of boxes for a lot of people's far.
Have you ever been on Manhattan Island?
Yes.
It's crazy.
It's miserable.
I want to go to Haiti.
Miserable.
So I will feel better when I get home. Dad's legendary. Did you hear that? And for our honeymoon, we went to an off-road race.
Yeah, which is perfect. My wife and I actually never even went on a honeymoon. We went and stayed at a, I don't know what you. We stayed at for our 1-year anniversary. We stayed at a ranch. It wasn't like a dude ranch or anything. It was just a ranch where we got to hang out and ride horses, and that was. But we technically never did a honeymoon. But 500 points to Mr. Brown for wanting to go to Haiti because, why not? Go to Haiti, experience some voodoo, real voodoo.
I feel like I sit right at about 4,900 feet above sea level, so I don't think you're really on my level. But I get what you're saying. I'm just giving you
I'm at 1,249 feet. I did not know that I was that high above sea level until this weekend, as a matter of fact. Because I didn't realize that the GPS actually tells you what elevation you're at.
What elevation you're at?
And that,
because we're in the mountains here. I mean, that's the only reason I know is, and everywhere you drive in Colorado, there's a little number underneath, which is, it's not the population. No, that's the elevation. That's it's how high you are. They want you, of course, in Colorado, they want you to know how high you are. So
yeah, that's a, and it's funny. The highest mountain in east of the Mississippi is like 2 hours south of me, and I was shocked that it's like 8,000 feet. That's it. I was like 8,000. That's the tallest mountain east of the Mississippi is only 8,000 feet.
Where's that at? In the Catskills? Is that in the upper New York?
Actually, it's a part of the Appalachians, but I think it's actually in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I don't think it's in the Smoky Mountains because it's in North Carolina. But I was kind of shocked at how short the mountain was. I kind of expected there to be some taller mountains because I know.
There goes our audience. The audience left for the mountains.
Yeah,
Blue Ridge.
Denver is full of shit. Yes, in the Blue Ridge. That's what I thought. The other thing I realized in driving home is everybody talks about the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's this great road to drive on.
All right.
And
I've never heard of it, but sure, okay. I mean, I'm sure if you're there and you're a local, they talk about it.
I guess in the South and on the East Coast, the Blue Ridge Parkway is a big deal.
Okay.
Because it goes North Carolina all the way through Virginia and shit. But the only problem I have with the Blue Ridge Parkway is it's a nice drive. It's fairly pretty driving through the mountains. The freaking speed limit's 35 miles an hour. And it's like it's a pretty decent sized 2-lane highway. 2 lanes on each side.
I don't want you hitting those little deer that they have.
And it's like, why are you making people drive 35 miles an hour? It's so, I mean, you see one mountain covered in trees. After a couple of hours, you're not slowing down to admire the mountain with trees on it anymore. You're like, yeah, it's another fucking mountain with trees on it. Great. Can we
propaganda in the house?
Propaganda, what's happening? Can we change the speed limit to 65 so we like drive like a normal freeway?
To enjoy the view. You know, and it could be, I know, you know, man, as you get older, I feel like, yeah, you slow down to enjoy the view a bit more, don't you? I mean, come on.
A little bit more, a little bit.
But I'm still of the opinion where if sparks aren't coming off this thing when we're landing it, I ain't doing it hard enough.
Well, I'm also of the mind that, you know, like we drove to Myrtle Beach and back on the same day, which is, you know, it's 5 hours one way. So, you know, in a 19-hour day, I drove 10 hours of that. And I wanted, you know, I would have rather been able to do it slightly faster than that. But part of the problem is you end up getting stuck on these, you know, little 2-lane backwoods highway roads.
Oh, so you got somebody in front of you, is what you're saying. You get caught up in a car or traffic.
And I also
because grandma or grandpa out there who's actually doing the speed limit.
Well, like, you know, GPS and Google Maps. I want to go back to the Thomas guide. I've had enough of GPS. GPS is freaking stupid and retarded. It's just dumb. Like our GPS on the ride down there, I knew how I was going to go.
When you have an opportunity, turn around and make a U-turn.
Well, I kind of mapped out my drive down there. But when we get to Myrtle Beach, there's turns and surface streets and all this. So it was kind of like use the GPS to get us to the end point. But when we turn around and come back home, we did the same thing, but the GPS decided that there was a shorter route to go.
Oh, good for GPS.
By 28 miles, it was shorter. And it, you know, so the GPS like, you're going to go this way. So I'm, you know, oh, okay. So I'm driving out. I'm like, well, this doesn't really look that familiar. It doesn't look the same as the way we were coming in. Only realized like an hour into my journey that we weren't going back the same way that I had mapped coming down because I was just blindly following the GPS. Lo and behold, at 7:30 at night as the sun's going down, and I'm driving through Morven, South Carolina. Morven, Morven. It's like a population of 40. And and all 40 of them are really pissed off at anybody that drives through their town, because every single person that I saw looked like they wanted to go fucking chainsaw massacre. Like, yeah, I'm just driving through town, and every person I see is like,
"What's that guy driving through town for? Who's that guy?
What are you doing here?
We don't recognize him. We don't take kindly to your tack."
Then the last hour of my journey, because the whole thing I wanted to avoid was having to drive some windy ass mountain road in the middle of the night, which was what was going to happen because I knew we were going to get home late.
What did you take? What did you drive? Did you drive the Genesis?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man! Are you seriously upset about a mountain road?
The Genesis is not a bad car. It's not a sports car by any means. It's a 4-door sedan.
Oh, that's right.
But
I thought you had the coupe. Sorry.
Holy crap, did I end up having to drive like 32 miles where every 500 feet was a 15-mile-an-hour turn.
Awesome.
Up and over basically the Appalachian Mountains. And I'm like,
I picked a better route like it.
Well, and it was like when we started that part of it, it was I think we were like maybe 80 miles from home. So I'm thinking 80 miles from home, it's going to be an hour. Yeah.
Except
for on the freeway, you're zipping along
right now.
No. 3 hours later, I was just getting to the bottom of the hill.
Wow.
And I was literally like, because I could have avoided that road and I could have just stayed on the highway and it would have taken me like 30 miles the long way around. But I would have been doing 65, 70 miles an hour the whole time until I got to the freeway. Then I would have been doing 80. So it might have taken me an hour and a half at that point to get home had I gone that way. I know. I'm blindly following the GPS.
GPS and Google are great tools, but that's all they are, is tools. It's just a tool. You got to use your head still. Rand McNally has never let me down. I tell you what.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
There, where's my old atlas? You know what? I remember that. Like, I grew up with that shit still.
Well, have you ever heard of the Thomas Guide? Thomas Guide, I think, was mainly like California. So the Thomas.
Oh no! Wait, yeah, no, I remember.
It was a book. It was basically a book that was street maps on each page. And in the beginning, you know, you would buy like Los Angeles County, and it would have all of Los Angeles County broken down into a grid. And in each section of the grid was a page number. So you're like, okay, I'm here and I'm going to go here. So I'm starting on page 107. You flip to page 107. As you're driving down the road there, when you get to the end of the road, you're like, oh, I'm going to need, it tells you need to go to page 110. So you flip to page 110. And there you are on the other side of the page. And you can, so you could literally, you know.
It's like one of those choose your own adventure books. And, flip to page 110. You fall in a pit and die. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least, especially if you had somebody in the passenger seat that could flip through and could tell you, yeah, you're going to go down here to.
Well, that's what I'm, thinking right there was, I go back to rally driving, where that guy's sitting there and he's sitting there with the maps and everything, and typically he's got the whole route drawn out, and you got 150 yards, so right turn, medium left, whatever.
40 left, 4, 50 right, 6.
Over crest.
But I was so I was so wiped out when I got home. I came home, we parked the car and then we took all the crap out and everything. I came in the house and I turned to my wife and I was like, I'm never using that GPS ever again. That was the dumbest thing. And it was like, well, because it was like fiddling with the little knob thing, because when we figured out that we had gone a different route, because we were coming up on Charlotte, and I was like, oh yeah, I know the route that we're going, and I don't necessarily like the end of this. So she's like fiddling around with the joystick, trying to move the map around so that we could see where to go to redirect the GPS. Like, right. Okay, if I turn off here and just keep going down this freeway, eventually it'll reroute us back to this. And it was such a pain in the ass that eventually it was just like, fuck it. We're just going to blindly follow where the GPS takes us. Wherever it goes, it goes. And yeah, it turned the drive into like this ridiculous thing. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm going to buy a freaking map on Amazon. And I'll literally just have you unfold the freaking map in the passenger seat, and I can just pull over and go, I am here. I want to go here. How do I get there?
I working was it in my younger years, working in a hotel as front desk in the middle of nowhere off the interstate, I-90, in the middle of South Dakota, in the middle of there's nothing out there. Burger King, McDonald's is whatever you want. It's at least an hour away from me. And people would pull into town and be like, Google says you're on the other side of town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you believe everything fucking Google tells you to? Is that, I use Google, don't get me wrong, and I'll quote Google, but that doesn't mean I believe everything it fucking tells me.
Yeah. And yeah, Kelly, that Matt's Off-Road Recovery is constantly rescuing people out of the sound because they followed their
GPS. Yeah.
There's somebody that actually just sued.
Like Swift drivers and shit, like going out in the middle of nowhere, like.
Yeah. Well, like somebody just sued Google over the Google Maps, taking them down some random road or something where like the part of the road was missing or something, and the guy
Destroyed their
ended up like,
car.
well, he like ended up getting to the, it was at night and he couldn't see, and he got to the point where like the road had been washed out for months evidently, and he drove off the end of the road and like rolled his car down a fucking hill and jacked
The
himself
bridge
all up.
was out.
he ended up uh he ended up winning the lawsuit, which was pretty good.
Was that when
Jesse
you
Baker.
travel? Yeah.
Dirt track racing is going pretty good. Last night we had the High Limit series where David Gravel picked himself up a $50,000 check, and last weekend was the Eldora Four Crown. Now the Four Crown is a unique event because it's a 410 sprint car, wing sprint car, 410 wingless sprint car, uh,
Oh, Rich is excited about this.
sprint car, midget, and silver crown car. So they have 4 races that night. If you can manage to win all 4 races, you get to collect the 4 crown championship. It's actually only been done twice, once by Tony Stewart, once by Kyle Larson. This last weekend, Logan Seaby ended up winning 3 out of the 4, which is still a pretty amazing event. That's actually, other than Tony Stewart and Kyle Larson, nobody's ever won 3 out of the 4. Yeah, he won the midget, the non-wing sprint car, and the Silver Crown race. I don't think he had a ride in a winged car, but pretty impressive. And he won in pretty impressive fashion in all 3 races. He was pretty dialed in. Eldora is a freaking awesome track. Ever have a chance to visit Rossburg, Ohio, which is in kind of the southwest corner of Ohio? If you ever have a chance to go to Eldora to watch yourself a sprint car or a late model race, absolutely worth every penny. One of the fastest tracks you'll ever see on dirt. Cars are doing 160, 170 miles an hour down the straight.
I like how excited you get about that. More shouting,
And-
hooray!
And that's the wing sprint cars. They will literally drive around that far away from the wall on the outside, up at the very top of the banking of the track. It's known as the Eldora Groove.
What was I going to say, though?
Ooh-ah.
Yeah, ooh-ah, Green Frog in the house, Jesse Baker, a residential welder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so it was private property then Google sent him there. I wouldn't be surprised because my GPS at one point told me to turn down a street that was named James Street, literally just James Street. And I didn't see the sign for it. So it was just a normal little green sign. I didn't see it in time, so I couldn't make the turn. But I was looking down the street, I was driving by, and it looked like somebody's driveway. And I was like, Google, where the hell are you taking me? You freaking maniac.
All I can think of is that video of the trucker who sees the sign that road works ahead, and he looks over at the camera and he's like, yeah, I sure hope it does.
Yeah, it's hey man, it's good to hear you yelling over there. Hey, Green Frog. Hi, you snuck in there. Only know the scenic route. You know, it would be I would be
all
okay.
I can think is there's some kind of conspiracy there for your car to waste gas. There's like some kind of fucking gasoline conspiracy with Google GPS and
well, my GPS literally chose the shortest route home by 28 miles.
Sure, shortest route over the mountains.
And it was like, yeah, that's great. You chose me the shortest route. But the length of time that it took was 2.5 hours longer than the next longest route. Yeah, like, what the hell? That's why we still cannot trust AI. And I'm not going to trust driverless car and AI driving technology until we can figure out how to get a GPS to know the difference between, yeah, that route might be, 28 miles shorter, but it's 2 hours longer. I don't want to spend an extra 2 hours in the car if I don't have to. Mr. Google GPS map guy.
My phone just notified me of the show just now. All I could think, you got to get off the Ocean Gate service. That Logitech sucks.
Live on a dead end, have a circle drive. Google had it as a pass in the main. So I live on a dead end road as well. Um, it's it's kind of tricky to get to our dead end street to begin with, but I have seen people who have turned down our street by mistake
Sure.
because
Absolutely.
there's only like 8 houses on my whole street here, and from my ivory tower up here, I can see every car that comes and goes down the street, and I know what all my neighbors drive. So I know when somebody drives down the street and then 30 seconds later driving back the other way, like, your GPS took you the wrong way. Because if you don't turn down my street and you keep going, it turns to the left. And because we often will have people that
Oh, that's interesting.
they come hauling ass through. If you miss the corner, you only have about there's a slight slope, and then there's a drop off, and it's a river, and it's about 20 feet. So if you miss it good enough, you end up in the river.
You get wet.
The tow truck is out here dragging your car out of the river.
The wet ride.
Oh
yeah, right on the corner like that. Like if your house is right on the corner, I was saying, and then they go up to the next. I've had shit like that happen to me too. I went out, I drove for AutoZone, I drove for Napa delivering parts and whatnot, and sometimes you got to go to places like Napa is really strange because Napa will have you go to like residential houses and shit. If people have an account with now AutoZone's more commercial, so it's more of a shop thing. But I've had to go to some places that are like, I ended up on the wrong side of a dead end, and it's just chained right there. And right on the other side of the chain is where the house is that I need to be. And it's like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Normally I just park and get out and walk over there, but seriously.
Yeah, I
put this chain here and why?
I don't. All this talk about AI, and I know the Teslas are really good about the automatic driving. Although I did recently see where a Tesla in auto drive was driving down the freeway, and a cop had pulled somebody over, and a second cop had pulled up, and he was like halfway out into that lane with his lights flashing.
Doesn't mean the Tesla knows what's going on.
The auto driver car didn't realize, and it just literally plowed into first cop car, which plowed into the second cop car, which plowed into the car they had pulled over. And I think it damn near killed both of the cops. It hurt the person that was just sitting there having a shitty day getting a speeding ticket anyhow. But yeah, I mean that part of the whole, that and there's, the car's going to crash, and it can crash to the left and crash to the right. On the left is a group of school kids. On the right is an old man. Which way does the AI decide to go? The AI is going to decide to go whichever is the best way to protect the driver and the car. It's not going to take into consideration that that's a bunch of kids over there.
Oh, so yeah. I feel you, propaganda. Fuck all that Tesla
computer. If the computer decides that it goes to the left into the crowd of kids because that's the likelihood that your life, the driver, is going to be saved, that's where it's going to go. Obviously, every human being knows, hey, you're going to sacrifice yourself before you're going to sacrifice a whole group of kids. At that point, I'm barreling down the road and I'm going to crash and I'm probably going to die. or it's likely that I'm going to die unless something it happens, I'm going to make the choice to do the least amount of damage and least amount of death possible. Computer isn't going to think that way. And
yeah, like, you know, jerking the wheel for the ditch or something. I'll crash my own car first.
Let's just use gas and hope people are not texting and hope for the best. I agree with you, propaganda. First of all, I think green energy is the biggest lie there is. This big push. I mentioned it on last week's show about the Chicago City Council hearing a proposal for a 30 station charging spot for commercial vehicles.
Green frog. Ouch. I like it.
Yes, absolutely. Real intelligence is. We still don't have a computer that can keep up with the human brain.
Wasn't there not since Dad mentioned it there? Wasn't there just an expo on EV cars? I just saw like a whole bunch of Corvette. There's a new EV Corvette that's coming out. There's like a new Toyota Prius. All kinds of dumb shit.
The Hummer EV. Really, really nice. Really nice. But I believe it was this CEO of Ford just took one of the new Lightning EVs trucks out, and he went on like a family trip with the thing and came back and was like, whoa. There's a whole bunch of things wrong here, because a journey that should have taken me, and my family, like a 2 or 3 day road trip, took me like 7 days, because we literally had to stop places to charge for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And then there's distances that are too far to travel in between charging stations that the truck won't make it. So you have to divert 100 miles off this way in order to get a charging station. And he was like,
Ooh, a Toyota Tundra. Nice truck. Ford's building a battery plant 15 miles away from you, JM. Sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, I believe JM is up north, maybe even in the Michigan area. But I know he is up north somewhere.
I like Toyotas. Toyotas make nice trucks. I had a nice Nissan Frontier. It seems like off-brand. It seems like the foreign brand trucks typically, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't want to be a brand bad. I've seen all kinds of things. I've seen Fords fucking beat Chevys. I've seen Chevys beat Fords. I don't know what to say. I mean, shit goes both ways. It just depends on what kind of truck you've had and how much you built into it.
I was just talking to my wife, because we're gonna probably next spring we're gonna be in the market for likely not buying a truck. We're probably gonna buy a big full-size SUV.
Maybe carry an extra generator. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you just need a diesel generator in the back of your EV truck.
That's the meme with the Tesla towing a diesel generator.
Yeah.
And there's another one where it's towing a bunch of solar panels. Like, oh, we're going on a road trip. But there I
don't want to say that it's not cool, because honestly, I think the Cybertruck is kind of cool. But it's still junk. It's still junk because it doesn't go where it should or how it should. It's just pretty looking, and some people would even say it's not even that. But
so I drove 388 miles one way.
Right.
To Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I stopped when we left the house. I stopped at the gas station, like 2 exits down the freeway. I filled up the tank and I drove all the way to Myrtle Beach. And when I got to Myrtle Beach, I still had like an eighth of a tank left.
What's in that Genesis? Is that the 2.6? Okay. So that's a 3.6?
Yeah, 3.4 or 3.6, I think.
Okay.
So I averaged about 25 miles of the gallon.
All right.
So I think it's got like a 16 or an 18 gallon tank.
Okay. All right. That makes sense now. All right.
I only had to fill up the tank when I left. And then when I was in Myrtle Beach, we drove around a little bit, but mostly we just parked in a parking lot. And then when we left, drove a couple miles and went to the first gas station I went to, filled it up with gas, and drove all the way home.
Oh, YouTube does not want you to say that, Green Frog.
Upgrade and improve national electric grid before mandating. Well, I don't think Green Frog was here. The city of Chicago had a proposal put forth to it.
Did you see that? Did you see that YouTube blocked that comment? They don't want you talking about that.
There you go. Yeah, they had a proposal for a 30-station commercial charging station, basically to charge semis. And they told us, they went to the city, and I believe this is a bunch of engineers that worked on the original Tesla Model S. And they have now started their own endeavor to basically build charging stations for the upcoming commercial vehicles. So they went to Chicago, and they said, hey, a lot of commercial traffic through here. You're going to need a big charging station. Now, it's going to take a few hours for a truck of that size to charge. So you're going to need a 30 station because trucks are going to be sitting there for a couple hours at a time. You're probably likely going to have traffic because there's likely going to be more than 30 trucks at a time that want to charge. So there's going to be trucks waiting. So they said, this is the proposal, the plan, the city council is like, great, okay. And they said, okay, now here's the kicker. We need like 320 gigawatts of power. And the city planner and the city council of Chicago was like, oh, you guys got us. This is a great joke. That's more power than the city of Chicago uses in an entire year. We don't even have the capability to produce that much electrical power to actually charge 30 trucks at the same time by like a huge margin. Like they're missing the mark by 10 times. And, these guys, came out and they're like, okay, the state of Illinois, the state of Illinois said this has to happen. You guys made a law. There's not going to be diesel stations, not going to be diesel trucks, there's not going to be any of this. This is a law. You have to make this happen in 7 years. So you're going to have to build up your electrical power grid to be able to generate that much power in 7 years. It takes about 15 years to build and secure a nuclear power plant. Which is basically what they would need in order to generate enough power to just power the charging station.
Oh, I think everybody.
Build a whole nuclear power plant.
I think everybody here knows that this idea is just fucked. This idea, come on, this idea is fucked.
It's always been. California's in the same boat. California has basically passed the same laws. California doesn't even have enough electricity without any of that. So, and they basically same timeline. They got 7 years. Now, California's also talking about shutting down the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, which I think is one of 2 or 3 plants left. San Onofre's been shut down now for a couple of years, and they're in the process of dismantling it. But at the time, San Onofre was, I think it was providing like 30% of Southern California's total power.
Oh, wow.
And after the Fukushima tidal wave thing, they panicked because San Onofre's right on the ocean. They panicked and they're like, oh, shit, we can't have a nuclear power plant next to the ocean because what if a tidal wave hits? And holy shit, this is Southern California. We can't have that happen. Sort of understandable, but
all natural gas lines.
Asked Railroad how long to get all the electrical trains. And the answer was, decades. Semco Gas Company just ran all new natural gas lines in summer.
In our town this summer. Okay.
It's
huh.
Yeah, the green energy thing and the move to get rid of fossil fuels, all that, it's such a lie. It's such bullshit. And
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a lie or bullshit, but I mean, the truth of the matter is the technology is not there. We just don't have it. You're pushing for something that doesn't exist.
And well, and the move has been pushed by politicians. Anytime politicians have a pet project, you know it's full of shit.
My neighbor's out there screaming at somebody. I don't know.
I got thunder and lightning going like freaking crazy outside. But yeah, it was kind of like the
Okay.
solar power company that Obama praised in a press conference and gave something like $3 billion to in Northern California. Um, and like 3 years later, the company went belly up. And it turned out that they had no capabilities of doing anything that they promised, not even close. Obama, another good one was Obama gave, I think it was $30 million to the Fisker car company
There you go.
for the Fisker Karma, which was an electric hybrid car that was supposed to rival the Prius. Turns out that Fisker Karma was just a wet dream for the engineers, and it was like a $280,000 car, not a car that normal people are going to be able to buy. It was a high-end, expensive luxury car, and Obama dumped $30 million of taxpayer money into this company that literally made like 5 of them. They made like 5, and then they went belly up, and I believe GM bought them. We're getting this shaft left and right. Fucking Ukraine. I gotta say this quietly because my wife will freaking kill me. We just promised to give Ukraine another $23 billion. That's like 3 times the amount of money that FEMA has given to all of the people in Maui. We're giving more money to a foreign country than we are our own people whose houses burnt to the ground and family members got burnt to the ground.
There's another comment. The climate agenda is based on a lie. Okay. Apparently you can't say that. You can't say stuff like that, man.
You can't.
YouTube says no, but we hear.
YouTube says you can't, but we say F YouTube because, hey, chances are, and I was actually, JB and I were talking about it just before the show came on, Pro Line by the Fire videos.
Yeah, we might as well talk about this for a minute, huh?
Propaganda. Do you know anybody that went to Pro Line by the Fire? I mean, I saw that there was a bunch of people because there's like 4 or 5 videos, but that's it.
There's a couple videos.
2 years ago, there was 40. There's 40 videos of Pro Line by the Fire. Everybody and their brother made videos at every single event they went to. Now, you're lucky if you see 1 or 2.
Well, is that because of YouTube itself, or is that just because of the RC community? I mean, what are we talking about? What are we seeing here?
I think what we've been talking about in this show.
I know why one certain group doesn't fucking video their shit.
Well, yeah, because they don't want anybody to know what they're actually doing. But I'm like Harley. Harley made the Scale News update, and he was talking about how he had a great time at Pro Line by the Fire. He just got home, and he was filming his Scale News update. But even Harley last year, he did like a vlog every day. He had a daily. This year, nothing. He didn't even do a Pro Line by the Fire video. And what I believe is happening is the same way that I think a lot of people are feeling is YouTube is failing the small creators, and it's not worth the effort to go to an event, take up your time filming and doing all of that, and then when you get home from the event or while you go back to your hotel or in your camper or whatever, to edit a bunch of videos so that you can upload it to YouTube and you have it there. I honestly think people are starting to realize that it's just not worth the effort anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you. Propaganda. I hope and that's where I'm at with making videos and doing videos and stuff like that. Is I take my car and I go crawling because I can only crawl for about 2 hours or so, and then I got to go home. So I mean,
I just think
I don't take the camera anymore. I don't even waste my time.
well, I mean, I think from what I saw, it looks like people had fun. It was kind of it was a survival was the theme this year, and I saw somebody had a remote control life size part of a zombie.
Oh yeah,
It
I
was
did
like
see
just
some of
from
that.
the it
Well,
was
and
like
that was
from the
all.
abdomen
You
up.
talk about Proline by the Fire videos. I guess where I've seen a lot of stuff is from Axial and Proline themselves. Now that I
Yeah.
think about it, I haven't actually seen a lot of other people's stuff.
Because there isn't a lot of it out there, and I was even, because I was kind of bored yesterday because I had taken the day off of work, and I was actually looking because I remembered, like, oh, Pro Line by the Fire was this weekend. There's probably going to be some, there probably should be some decent videos of it.
God, if you got a link you want to drop, you certainly can.
There is even Big Squid didn't even put they didn't put anything about Pro Line by the Fire on Big Squid.
Huh.
The closest thing they had related to it was that Element released another Night Walker RTR.
I like that Team Warmonger. You're pretty funny with that.
Um,
I've seen a lot on Instagram, and maybe that's where it's moving to. Maybe that's why I don't, because I don't Instagram.
I think Instagram, Twitter seems to be putting up a lot more video nowadays. TikTok, it seems like the YouTube RC community is definitely slowing down quite a bit.
The mosquitoes have been horribly this year. Normally they don't get you, but this year they were bad, huh? Is the fall weather helping at all? Is it cooling off?
I'm telling you, man, I have the Black and Decker bug zapper on my front porch.
RC YouTube is boring. No shit. Isn't that the truth?
The Black and Decker bug zapper.
TikTok.
Absolutely awesome. I would accept a sponsorship from Black and Decker just because of the bug zapper. That thing is awesome. And it is absolutely awesome to sit outside in the porch and listen to that thing going crazy. Because I agree, Jesse, the mosquitoes have been kind of crazy this year.
Everyone is exciting as a ham sandwich. I've never had my channel compared to a ham sandwich. I'm a little hurt.
Yeah, and I would say this show is as exciting as like a ham and cheese.
I was gonna say I put spit in.
We're slightly above normal.
There's a little bit of for you.
Hey, this last Saturday, we've been cleaning out our shed. We got a shed out there in the back. It's a pretty good sized shed. And when we moved and we unpacked all the boxes and all the packing and all that shit, we didn't really have anywhere to put it. So we broke down the boxes, everything, and styrofoam and everything, and we put it out in the shed. Now, over the course of the last probably 6 months, we have been burning boxes because, A, it's fun, and B, coming from California, you can't just randomly burn shit in your backyard.
Right.
Where in Tennessee, they don't fucking care. You can go outside with a fucking machine gun. They don't care. People are out chainsawing their trees and shit at 2:00 in the morning here.
Rich is burning garbage out there. Somebody walks up, hey man, smells a little like pork. Rich is like,
not garbage, just boxes. I mean, what do you do with hundreds and hundreds of cardboard boxes?
Mind your own
when
business.
You have a normal sized trash can. So, yeah, so anyhow, we're pulling out the last bit of the cardboard out of the shed on Saturday, my wife and I. And there was a relatively big box that we had. It was kind of shallow, but it was like 4 foot by 4 foot.
Okay.
And we didn't break it down or anything. It was just sitting there. So I am pulling this box out, and there's like a little bit of plastic laying on top or whatever. So the back half of the box I didn't really see. So as I'm pulling the box, this little, not little, reasonably sized black snake comes and sticks his head up, and is like, I'm kind of half bent over and I'm looking at the snake in the face, and I'm like, hey there, Mr. Snake. I hope you're the non-venomous variety, that you're just like a rat snake or something, and that you're just going to go about your business so I can pull this box out and light it on fire. And my wife was standing outside the shed because she's kind of over where the bus is burning, and she's like, who are you talking to? And I was like, honey, come here. My wife does not like snakes. And she comes around and, oh my God, there's a snake. Ah. So I like kind of lift the box up and shake a little bit, and guy goes off into the back corner there, and he kind of disappeared under a pile of like some styrofoam and stuff. I was like, hey, yeah, that's good. You can stay over there for a while.
Right? Yeah.
We're probably not going to get to that for a little while. But yeah, I got a snake living in my shed. Evidently lives there. Because in amongst us pulling stuff out, we found a full snake skin where he'd evidently grown. We also found a partially digested rodent. I'm not exactly sure why it was only partially digested. Gave the snake some diarrhea or something, but that was gross.
This is not where I expected the show.
But yeah, just kind of random thing, because it was kind of a random thing that happened.
How's your ham sandwich now, Green Frog? Jesus.
Hey, I got everybody ready for a dad joke?
You say we're gonna do? I thought we said we were gonna do some bad dad jokes.
All right. Well, I got a bad dad joke. What do you call a dog that does magic?
Give it to
Labracadabrador.
Nice.
In my travels around the South, having driven in California, where I swear, now I've driven all over the United States doing road trips and whatnot, and I have said for the longest time that California had the worst drivers. Just per capita, more shitty drivers around California than there was. I am going to revise that statement. Florida and South Carolina tied for first place. Florida drivers are pretty freaking bad. South Carolina drivers, I don't understand the what do they call it? The Carolina squat.
Oh yeah, I gotta love that.
You raise the front half, your front of your truck is higher than the back of your truck, so you drive around like looking up in the sky. That is an inherently bad way to drive, because I'm thinking that those guys miss a lot of what's in front of them. A, you're kind of already high enough as it is, and B, you're slanted backwards. But
I heard that they outlawed the squat, but I mean, I know that
they should. They should have outlawed it from the moment the very first person did it.
There's two things there. Why don't chickens wear underwear? You go ahead and let me know why. And then
you conversing with the male snake in parcel tongue.
I'm a little male snake in parcel tongue. I thought snakes were asexual in the first place.
Well, Green Frog is getting 1,000 points for making a Harry Potter reference, and
oh, that's what this is. Oh, okay, all right. It's that part. All right.
I was
way to slither in.
I honestly, the snake was within. Had it been, because it turns out that it's just a black rat snake. They're completely harmless.
On the face.
They're pekka. Oh, hey, 1,000 points to Cape Cod for a zinger of a dad joke.
We like them here. Go ahead.
Yeah, had it been of the venomous variety, I probably would have gotten my hand bit by a snake. Because I just was reaching in there like pulling boxes and stuff. When I pulled that thing out, homie was ready to go. Now, I'd say had it been venomous, he would have just here's some venom for you, pal.
Like I can't read. So
Messing
you
with
just
my box. Yeah, I mean the gangster lean. Come on, that's the gangster
okay.
lean.
All right. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Here's the thing about the gangster lean. All right. I had a 98 Z28 Camaro. Okay, you don't gangster lean in a sports car. All right.
That you're in a whole different realm there. You got to have the Camaro mullet.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree.
Jeans shirts with a tucked in t-shirt, probably with the sleeves rolled up at least once.
At least where the pack of cigarettes is that I never smoke. I just look and talk. That's me. Yeah. But but when like I had a '93 Sedan DeVille too, and when you're in the Sedan DeVille, man, you tilt the seat back, you do the gangster lean a little bit. Of course, you're not driving that thing at 90 fucking miles an hour down the road either. You're cruising.
I had a '78 Sedan DeVille.
Whoa!
You talk about that car wouldn't even do 90 miles an hour. If it did 90 miles an hour, it would be scary as hell.
When we get it up to 88, we go back to the future.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, you could have fit a king size bed in the trunk of that car easily. Like the trunk lid on the back of that car
at least 4 bodies.
Easily like 5 foot long.
20 RCs.
Oh my Lord! You could have gone camping in that and just camped. You could have just slept in the trunk. But man, it had that prototypical Cadillac suspension. Like you could go over railroad tracks at 60 miles an hour, and you wouldn't even know, other than it would make a noise. But other than that, you wouldn't know. It would be smooth sailing. That thing was awesome. It was awesome and terrible at the same time, because I think that car would cost me like $25 in gas to go to the end of the street.
Well, and see, that's where like a gangster lean would come from is more of a land yacht car, like you say. Yeah, absolutely, more of a captain's chair. I wouldn't do that, in my RX-7. That's not. You don't.
Yeah, you start it and burn half a tank. Yes, Mr. Brown, a 7-body trunk. Oh man, some fun.
Earl Moorhead in the house.
Earl, what's happening? I'm curious to know if Earl has hit the 100-mile-an-hour mark.
The trunk of the cab. That's right. That's how you sneak people into the drive-in.
Yeah,
it's just like.
And it was, and mine was particularly good because the back seat had that. It was the single bench, so the seat was all one piece and the back was all one piece, and it was like 5 bolts.
I think
that held the back of the seat.
I might have to call my dad out on something like this, because I think my dad used to do this to sneak us kids into the races, where it's like we used to hide in the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
You're not here. Get in the back of the truck. Get down.
Yep.
Guess YouTube didn't like how I said "what's up." I guess not. Did you say cunts or something in there, Sean? Were you vulgar?
See, and this somebody else last week, before last week's show, somebody else complained that their comment never showed up. All I said was like hello. I don't know what's going on.
Apparently, if you just say hello, YouTube might block you. Yeah.
Because I mean,
that's for you, Sean.
There could be disinformation or misinformation. But anywho, good to see you, Mr. Sean. Happy Wednesday.
If anyone needs parts, I recommend Jenny's RC. I got a brand new body for $37.
Damn.
Huh. Go figure. I'd love a brand new body for $37. This, oh, jeez, look at this guy.
I am waiting for my spare wheels to show up, because I did manage to get 2 hot shots rear tires for the Pro Moto.
Well, see, now you've hit that learning curve, Earl, where you're at that speed where now you got to get past it. Too many crashes.
You've gotten so comfortable with it, now you're pushing it. Nice. Same body 50. Say $20 off. $20 is $20, man. I will freaking take it. Jenny's RC. All right. Well, hey, nice plug for Jenny's RC. Make sure you go and check out Jenny's RC site.
Nice plug.
Yeah, JM, I know it's like impossible to get rims for the freaking motorcycle, and ungluing is a pain in the ass. Even if you have the super glue remover, it's still a pain in the ass.
Well, why would you come in here? Why would you come in here and say that?
I don't know why YouTube wouldn't allow that out.
Yeah, geez. I mean,
maybe if it was YouTube Ireland, they would be more lenient. But YouTube America, they're very worried about people's sensitive ears here. Yeah, I'm not either spending $60 a rim. And that's the sad part about this whole Promoto thing, is that people are ripping people off left and right on these things.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of watching people get ripped off in the RC world. It seems like, I don't know what it is. What is it? Is it propaganda? I don't know if it's you who keeps telling me you can't piss on a guy for making $1. I mean, I understand. Look, you want to make money, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But it's like, I don't know. It just seems like everywhere I look in the RC world, there's just this level of bullshit that's on top of it.
Yeah, Jam, I'm withholding on buying a bunch of the like aluminum upgrades. I got like the triple clamp, and I got the foot pegs, and then I kind of put the brakes on. Just because it seems like everybody, T-Real, Vitavon, GPM, they're going batshit crazy making aluminum parts for these things. And I just
pre-block him.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if it's worth it. You know, if you go and put a bunch of aluminum stuff in there, then something is going to bend or something else is going to break, and I'm not sure where to go.
Crash plate.
Yeah, there's a plate that is right behind the number plate, and it seems to be the thing that everybody's breaking. And it's partially because of the way the fork angle is. If you land straight flat, it's trying to push it out. So
I haven't been paying attention to it. What happens if you replace that with metal? Then what breaks?
That's the thing, and that's, now they're putting the upper crash structure aluminum. They're putting the skid plate aluminum, and they're basically making all these aluminum parts. So the whole bike is going to be aluminum. It's like, well, I will tell you what, something's going to bend at that point. And now it's not going to be 45 minutes of replacing a $15 plastic part. It's going to be 45 minutes of replacing a $100 aluminum part.
Well, and this depends, what is that part of the hobby that you like? Is that something you enjoy? Because, sorry, I didn't have my notifications off. I feel like a newbie.
Well, I mean, I don't mind taking the time to fix something that gets broken, or I think that partially is part of bashing. But if I'm replacing a $15 part with a $40 aluminum part, that somewhere down the line, a $60 aluminum part needs to go in order to keep that plastic version from breaking. To me, that crash plate it takes like 5 minutes to take that thing out, put a new one in. Easy fix. Whereas the aluminum, now maybe you're breaking the plastic crash structure. Well, that's 45 minutes to an hour taking all that apart to put a new crash structure in there.
Well, I mean, if anybody's, I'm sure that half of these guys have already done this with an RC car before. I'm sure that half of these guys have already aluminum out an RC car enough to know that, yeah, man, now when you break it, you really fucking break it.
Yeah. And there's always, you know, a lot of you see a lot of the guys who do a lot of heavy bashing, they always have, they figure out the breakaway part. The part that I never buy the aluminum version of that because it's
20,
plastic.
20 of these motherfuckers in a bag.
Yeah, I'll go and stock up on these things, and I'll have them all in the toolbox in the trunk of the car. When I'm at the skate park, I break it, I take it back to the trunk, and I'm back running again.
A 3D printer is very handy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Most people won't break I still haven't broken mine. You know, and that's funny. This goes back. That reminds me of like the 10.3, when the 10.3 came out and everybody was breaking the 10.3 left, and the Panhard would break, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I backflipped mine and never broke it. I mean, I think it's it's just all of the matter how you drive it, how you hit it.
It depends on how hard you're sending it. You know, if you're skate parking the Pro Motor, you're going to be breaking. I ran mine full speed, head on into the tree. Nothing happened to it. I've jumped it a bunch of times. Now I'm not launching it. When I first ordered it, I ordered because RC Driver broke that crash plate in his second video. He broke it, and I ordered one like the day I ordered the bike. I ordered that crash structure replacement, and that now I have a spare.
75 miles an hour into a curb. Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Earl's got his bike humming, so if he's not breaking his, most of the aluminum stuff really is just it's window dressing. I think that's more of
well, everything, like I said, everything it depends on that mold and everything else, and that plastic and stuff. I mean, as a structural engineer, that if it gets hit in just the right angle at just the right speed, it might shatter.
Yep.
But
I gotta say, I'm enjoying the crap out of this thing. It's been sitting for a week now because I kind of burned up my whole shot, and that was the only rear tire that I had left. And then Saturday, I ordered 2 from Amazon.
It's like, I'm going to play with this super soft tire on pavement. You dork.
I knew that was going to be what ended up happening, because I don't like the Pro Moto, the street tire from Proline, because they made it smaller. The diameter smaller, and I think that's just a dumb idea. They should have just made it the same diameter as the dirt tire.
If you make it smaller, won't it go? It'll go slower.
Yes, smaller rear tire makes it go slower, but the idea was that it looked more scale that way. Jenny and me would like carrots.
The Forrest Gump.
I didn't like that they made that tire smaller, and they did it because it looks more scale, because real Supermoto tires are smaller in diameter than their dirt counterparts.
You pre-ordered your Pro Moto? I'm not a smart man.
But I mean, I'm like half in the grass, half on the pavement. So, but I knew I was going to burn up those rear tires relatively quick. So it just is what it is. But I'd rather burn up the whole shots than, freaking Losi says it's going to be January before they have any like regular rear tires for it anyhow. So I'm just going to burn up whole shots until the other ones show up, because the original stock tire actually it did pretty good. My driveway is kind of abrasive, so it's relatively harsh on tires anyhow, but especially how soft the whole shots are, it especially eats those things up. I saw some being on the road for so many hours. I saw several nice Jeeps. I can't say that I would ever own a Jeep because I don't trust them.
I have several of them.
Um, I do like the Jeep Rubicon. Um,
The look,
yeah, I mean,
or
it's unique, and it that sort of just boxy look of it is unique, and it's what gives Jeep its style. But when you get somebody that puts it all together and puts the right stuff to it, and they don't go super crazy with the lift and like 96-inch tires and whatnot, just enough to make it slightly perform better. They look really good, but like I said, I couldn't bring myself to buy a Jeep because I just don't trust them.
The soft tires for the infractions fun. Now are those? I remember those. There's 3 levels of those tires, right? There's white, silver, gold. I think because especially the ones that burn rubber, the ones that make smoke or whatever, are pretty fucking cool. But yeah, I mean those are kind of spendy tires to buy.
Especially if you're going to be burning them up by doing burnouts constantly.
The other thing about Jeep, man, it just depends. It depended. Like I've had some decent Jeeps, but I mean, my Wrangler was a good Jeep, but I had the last of the inline 6. So after that, they switched to a different motor, like a V6 or something. And
yeah, well, I mean,
and then I owned the V6 4-door, which is, I mean, there's not a lot of difference, to be honest. It's just that, yeah, that thing was a pile of shit. The V6 4-doors are just a big fucking crap hole.
And then the V6 engine as a whole is.
If you could find like an old 2-door Cherokee with the inline 6, that'd be the tits right there.
Even the old 4-door Cherokees with the inline 6 were pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the V6 is a bad engine. It's just it's always been a bad engine.
Jeep has perfected, and that was the thing too with like my Wrangler. My Wrangler was lifted. That motherfucker had a death wobble in it. Have you ever experienced death wobble? I mean,
yeah.
You've never shit your pants like you have at 75 mile an hour when both those tires start jumping off the ground.
One of my buddies had a 4-door Jeep Cherokee with the inline 6 in it that he airbagged the suspension on.
No. No.
It at the time, it seemed like a good idea.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. That's what I'm going to put on my grave right there.
I had another buddy who had a 2-door Wrangler with the soft top, but he got it with the 4-cylinder.
That's a weak ass. It'd crawl, but
yeah, it was
not going anywhere very fast.
Yeah, and the great thing about that little Wrangler was it never got stuck. And he left it bone stock. He didn't do anything to it at all. And that thing never got stuck anywhere. It would just tractor its way through everything. That goddamn 4-door Jeep Cherokee with the airbag suspension, with bigger tires on, that thing got stuck everywhere. It's just never was it not getting stuck somewhere. And that 4-banger Wrangler was constantly pulling that thing out of shit. And it was like, how can this be? This is like the weakest Jeep on the planet that's pulling like the strongest Jeep on the planet out of being stuck everywhere. But man, that 4-door Cherokee, when that front end would start going, it was like going to an amusement park.
Running mine bald. That takes me back to those tires. Do those tires have a belt inside of them? Do you guys know? I can't remember. Do those tires have any is there a piece of fabric inside that tire?
I don't think there is. I think they had ribs in them. I think they just had a rubber rib in it to keep it from ballooning out.
Yes.
I don't think they were.
No, he says yes. I'm thinking there was a belt inside. It's not much of anything inside the Hoon tires. Now the speed tires, I know some of the belted speed tires have more. The stock tire works great, bald. That's cool. Fuck yeah. Basher boy.
Horsepower to weight ratio is a big thing in the off-road. Hey, Basher boy, it is good to see you, man.
God, if we could just get Jack in here, we'd have a real group of assholes.
Yeah. Now I have a buddy who has I want to get it was like a late 60s Land Cruiser that he put God, why can't I think of it? It's the LC crate motor. Chevy LC crate motor in it.
Oh wow! Jesus.
That he had a local engine builder build up for him, so it had like 580 horsepower or some shit in it. That thing was a freaking blast. I mean, he spent 2 years obsessing over restoring it. He bought it as a rust bucket, and the engine was completely gone out of the thing, so he had to put a new motor in it. And our buddy Jesse was like, "Oh yeah, put this motor in it.
Hold on, I got something for you.
Let me build it up for you a little bit, and your freaking Land Cruiser will be amazing." And it was amazing, all right. It was amazing at like spitting rocks at everybody and like terrorizing off-road trails. It was awesome. It was an absolute blast, and it sounded absolutely ridiculous. You know, it sounded like a hot rod driving down the street. Like if you didn't see it but you heard it coming, you're like, "Oh man, that's gonna be nice." Holy, wait a minute, that's a freaking Land Cruiser.
How many of you guys had vehicles like that? I mean, I did. Not quite like that, but I mean, I definitely had a truck that was like that. Wow, my Outcast 4S is legit.
Ton of rust buckets in Michigan. Yeah, Michigan.
Crate shocks tuned up. Oh, that's cool. I like how you did. Yeah, the 6S.
6S crate and shocks on. Oh, nice.
That's a good switch. I did that with my Typhon. What is it? I took the shocks off of Creighton and put them on the Typhon.
See, I have I have the 3S Typhon.
I've got the 6F Typhon, but even so, you can buy the 8S.
I ended up putting the 6S shocks on my 3S.
There you go.
Which was because it's basically the same car, but the 6S shocks are way better. For some reason, the 4S.
I feel like 4S. I feel like 4S is a real good speed, just for general play. Like I feel like 4S, there's enough power there where it's fun, but you're not out of control with it.
8S is you're going for ultimate. That's ultimate bashing. That is, X-Max, Creighton, AS. Now, did Arma just come out with some new XRB? I want to say that I came across somebody at a video where there's two new.
Well, I mean, I saw the Gorgon, and we think we talked about the Gorgon last week or
yeah.
whatever.
No, I think they have two. I think they have two new XRB setups now because they had the.
You mean EXB?
XRT or XRB, the one where they souped it all up from the factory.
Yeah, the EXB. Yep.
EXB.
Yep.
I think they have two new EXB sets now.
An Outcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. I honestly I think Arma is they've been doing it right.
I mean, as much as I hate it,
screw trying to make an X-Max killer, because you've tried several times. People have called it X-Max killer, and it just isn't. The only way you're going to make an X-Max killer is if you just make something that's stupid bulletproof. And what's the point?
I mean, even the X-Max Cletus is about. Oh yeah, out of RCs.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Brown, did you see Cletus drive the late model, super late model dirt car at Bristol? Cletus got in a super late model dirt car at Bristol because Bristol dirt race is coming up, or it already happened, I think. And Cletus went and drove the guy's car from Hunt for the Front. And Cletus was legitimately like shocked when he got out of that car, like, holy shit. Now, 820 horsepower, Cletus McForehead.
Zinger.
Hell yeah, brother. But Cletus also went around that track. He did a 17.2 around that track, which is only like 0.02 of a second off of the lap record for super late model for a guy who'd never even sat in one before. Cletus actually got some legit skills. Yeah.
Makes it look good, huh?
I've seen his jet boat thing that he bought, where they have like skinny ass little creeks that have a bunch of turns in them.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Drive those boats at like freaking 90 miles an hour. He bought one of those things and was racing it around. Ended up crashing it like twice.
Well, the whole Cletus thing is just an act, anyways, right? That's just a persona. We've talked about that before.
That's his YouTube name. It's like I always forget what his real name is, but yeah, he actually is a pretty decent driver. I mean, super late models aren't the most difficult cars to drive, but it takes a reasonable amount of balls to jump on the gas in one of those things at Bristol, because Bristol's a pretty serious steep bank to it, and you get rocking around that track pretty easily 130, 140. And
wow, yeah, I guess we have touched on all subjects. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if we talked about planes yet. We could. Totally could.
That's the shit that needs to be said show. We talk about everything. And I was even going to say this week was like a freewheeling show because I literally have like no notes.
We didn't.
Nothing written down for this week's show. It was just, hey, we're going to go on and talk about whatever.
I didn't catch any lives or anything. I haven't seen. I mean, just what I've been scrolling through some social media, but I haven't really been paying any attention.
Yeah, I was telling JB. Like the last 2 weeks of my video history in YouTube has been nothing but
I won't say it because we're just going to lose the rest of the audience.
The racing videos and Starfield cheat videos.
Here we go. It's
Yeah.
true though. I mean, that's where I'm at too. It's like, I think music videos. I've been checking out a lot of music lately.
I
But
just found I just found my and I talked about it last week. I found that I'm not watching that much RC content because there isn't that much interesting RC content to watch.
well, that's what I'm as interesting as a ham sandwich. I was already told this.
Yeah, and it's you can make crawling video after crawling video after crawling video, but that was partly for me what kept me going doing 2 videos a week was when we were in California was we were literally going someplace every 3 or 4 days
Black
to where
Forest
I was
ham.
where
See
I was going
so I'm
out.
going to touch on that Black Forest ham thing real quick because here's the thing. I had Tony CC call me out one time, honest, and it's like all you do is just film and take the best shots you got and you throw it to music and timing. And he's like, any monkey can do that. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, I agree with you. That's, it's a little, I feel like it's a little hurtful and disgraceful for you to call me out on it, but sure, all right, fine. But nobody has my style. And that's where, yeah, okay, maybe I'm a Black Forest ham rather than just a ham. But hey, whatever. I mean, we're all still ham here. Come on.
That's racist.
That's racist.
Racist forest ham.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. What's with the black
That's why
thing?
I stopped making us in long form. It's boring, and they don't know how to make them fun. Tips and stuff are worth so, but crawling is made. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't make. I for the last 2 years, I really haven't made many crawling videos. I made a couple when we moved here to Tennessee, but I knew when I moved here that I was going to be more or less transitioning away from that anyhow.
What I feel like if you're going to give informative videos, you need to be very clear on what you're talking about and you need to know what you're talking about because somebody is going to come in there and call you out on your shit and be like, hey, and pull a Tony CC on you and be like, hey, anybody can do this monkey shit and you're not doing it.
I made 3 videos about suspension setup and I spent literally days reading and watching videos and learning from one-to-one crawler guys about setup and angles and all of that before I made any of those videos. And I am very confident in all of the information that I put in those videos. And I still got people that come in there like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, okay, explain to me what I got wrong. You're dumb. That's the kind of the part where I got to like, okay, YouTube genius, you're just gonna call me an idiot, but you're not gonna say why I'm an idiot.
Yeah, some comments do get wild, especially when people come in and say, "What's up, cunts?"
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, crawling videos, and I mean, it's kind of like what I was talking about, Pro Line by the Fire. I think event coverage. Events are pretty much all the same. You go, you drive around, and there's some cool scale buildings set up there, and you drive around them cool scale buildings, and you take a bunch of really cool pictures, and you hang out with your buddies, you drink beer at the campfire at night, and then the event's over. You make a video every day that you're there, and you do that every single year that you're at that same event. How many years is the? You just mash all them videos together. You could probably take video from 3 years ago's event and just reuse that and say, yeah, that was Pro Line by the Fire 2023. I was there. And I never left Tennessee. Make videos for fun is the best way. Yeah. Well, I think it's like I'm interested in doing some videos with the motorcycle. But honestly, I've been having fun with just running the motorcycle where it was like, do I want to take like the extra 5 or 10 minutes to get all the cameras set up and do all of that, kind of be the, or do I just want to throw the battery in there and go take it out and have fun with it? It's like, screw the camera. I'm going out.
I had somebody make this comment. Well, you gotta throw sand on that to make it, more tough for the vehicle to crawl on because that's the true test of a vehicle. You got to throw sand up on it, and I'm like, Why? Huh?
Well, if you're gonna go that far, then throw sand on it and then hose it down, and then like sprinkle butter all over it.
I
And
tell you what. Yeah,
extremely,
you know.
you know, and put slick tires on it. If
Oh,
you want to
just
make everything can be made more difficult, but
I said, look, I don't know. I just run the camera. So then the person responded back to me with, what, you don't own or drive any of these vehicles? And I can't bring myself to respond to this person again. Like, dude, if I can't, the sarcasm is so thick
see
here. I realize.
and see propaganda. That's where bad haired Kevin Talbot. Kevin's got money to throw around on RCs to where he can, hey, I'm going to make this big stupid sausage thing and make it go 200 miles an hour, and I'm going to invest, I don't know, $1,000 in some custom tires that nobody else can have.
Ooh, Earl, I got a good one for you.
Set a world record. And I
Okay.
agree that the big bashing videos are still great to watch. It's it's still fun watching guys launch cars. That's, to me, that never gets old.
Yeah, no, I'll watch cars jump, especially if it's decent. It's 10 degrees.
See, Earl, that's it's the stuff that doesn't get on
So,
camera that's always the
so
best.
here's what I was gonna say about that. Some of it is on camera, but some of it's not. I partied with RC every day, the guys from Big Squid, Holmes Hobby was there. Man, I mean, we all got down, we all drank, we all smoked. It was fun. But the thing about that is no, I have pictures that you're never gonna see. You're never gonna see. That's just the way that it is. Some of those people.
I mean, that's you have like the Big Squid guys, even RC every day, Holmes or whatnot. They have a public persona. They can't necessarily be out there, showing videos and them partying down and whatnot, because it's gonna, could potentially damage your business or whatever. But I think we've gotten to the point where too many people worry about that shit. If you're a normal everyday guy and you have fun, put it on
Well,
video, on
that's
your
how I
YouTube
feel it.
channel. And if somebody's like, oh my god, I can't believe you were drinking beer. Oh, whatever. I can't believe that you like, jamming fucking plastic balls up your ass. It's none of your business. It's none of my business.
Go China 501c3.
Yeah, I mean, it's people are too open to make comments and talk shit about people's like personal lives and personal things. I don't know. We don't ever go after anybody personally here that I know of, that I don't recall. Maybe occasionally we make fun of somebody or something, but
yeah, maybe don't drink in RC.
We're not necessarily like going out and bad mouthing people directly for their personal lives.
Whatever. I'm not here to tear people down. I'm just here to inform people where I've been. That's all.
I'm here to have fun and to laugh at shit that is stupid that people won't laugh at anymore because they're afraid of, laughing at something is going to offend somebody.
Right, propaganda? I feel you.
Want to be normal person. I'm a piece of shit. I don't really hide it. I like RC, tits, ass, booze, and think the earth is flat. If you don't like it, then don't be my friend. Exactly. That's exactly the attitude that everybody needs to have. I do what I want. And if you don't like it, screw you.
There's the door. You'll either get along with me or you won't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. And I also think that people have too big of issue.
Drunken oval racing.
I'll tell you what, man. We used to have a good time when we were doing our gas sprint oval racing. I mean, we had a good time. It was a bunch of boys out at the track on a Saturday night having fun.
Apparently, he had a very good time.
And I will admit that at some points it may have been a little bit dangerous for 10-pound gas trucks doing 60 miles an hour and us having a good time, but we still had a good time.
No ankles were broken.
People do have scars. I have scars. I took one to the shin, and I still have the scars to prove it. I like YouTubers to say, if you don't like my vid, don't watch. Quit your bitching. Yeah.
That's why
Don't
we say
tell me what I
if
can
you've
or
got
can't
something,
do.
if you got something important you need to say, just leave it in the comments because I don't read those.
I know that I have certain ideas and certain views on things that probably a lot of people don't share with me, but I've said before, I'm not here to push my views and my opinions and my things on people. I'm here to talk about shit. I think everybody here kind of universally agrees that Joe Biden is a piece of shit, and we make fun of that old coot all the time. But I don't want to sit here and do a political freaking talk show. One day you go watch Fox News or Crowder or friggin' Glenn Beck or any number of those people, the Hodge twins. But I want to be able to say shit about politics without being worried that I might impact my brand. Oh, my brand might be Sticky's Racing might take a hit because I hate Joe Biden. Don't care.
Biden can't even remember he's a POS.
Yeah. I gotta.
The media is turning on him. He's losing in the polls. Apparently, YouTube wouldn't want you to say that.
I got a great.
Did you see this, Rich?
Media's turning to me. He's losing. Oh yeah. So I got a great shot. This is a quote from Joe Biden. I believe in the late '90s when he was a senator. During my 12 and a half years as a member of this body, I have never believed that additional gun control or federal registration of guns would reduce crime. I am convinced that a criminal who wants a firearm can get one through illegal, untraceable, unregistered sources, with or without gun control. Senator Joe Biden, 1985. Now he wants everybody to register. And he doesn't think that anybody should have a gun that should be able to have more than like 2 bullets in it. What are you for?
You can't change your mind. You can't change your mind, Rich. You can't just. Okay, what if I got
propaganda? I used to watch Crowder, and it's so hard to watch now. The second that I saw the video of him talking to his wife, no, I'm sorry. You're an asshole. I always knew that Steven Crowder was an asshole because you can see that from just watching him and watching his persona. But that's your wife. You're the wife. This is the person that you're committed to spend the rest of your life with, and I've always kind of followed the advice that I've gotten from people that is, you above all else, you treat your wife better than anything else. Above all else, she is the person that chose to be with you, and no matter what happens, your wife is always, she always comes first.
Where did the pirate thing come in? I like the idea though, on an island by yourself with a bullet.
Yeah, I just and when I saw that, it was like, dude, you can't talk to your wife like that. You can't treat, and she was pregnant at the time.
How do you know she wasn't in on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust half of the shit that I see anymore because most of it is.
How do you know it wasn't set up for
But that in and of itself, just you could tell that was a candid moment, and he was trying to make a point. And it was like, dude, you're not on your show. You're not in front of an audience. You're just being a douche to your wife. And that's wrong. you know, I've always, my grandfather, who was married to my grandmother for over 60 years, preached to me that when it comes to your wife, you can be happy or you can be right.
Jack Sparrow.
And it works. My wife's never wrong. She never has to apologize for anything, no matter what she does, because that's my job. That's my job as husband.
I don't know what Earl's playing Jack Sparrow over here, and now we're Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not sure what's going on.
NDA stuff alone is terrible. Yeah, the whole thing with Quarter Black Garrett and the other comedian that he was doing live shows with, the shit that those guys said about what was going on behind the scenes with him, it was like, yeah, dude, I can't. And this whole setup thing with him creating his whole media empire and everything, it stinks of exactly what Glenn Beck did after he left Fox News. And that was the same kind of shit where it was just a fucking money grab. He's building this up so that he can sell it off to some media group, and then sail off into the sunset with tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I like that Green Frog. 1,000 points to Green Frog for all of us are shit in someone's opinion. God,
Yep.
my first thought was when I read that too is I hope so, really, because there are some people. You know what? Fine.
I have, like I said, I have my own opinions and thoughts on things, and I don't want to push those. I'm not here to fill some agenda. Not, it's plainly to have fun, and I will express my opinions freely.
I think half the time all we've really done here is just shoot the shit. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's kind of what this show was about, was just shooting the shit. And that's what it was always supposed to be about. And we're not hogtied by just, we can only talk about RC stuff, and we can't talk about this, and we can't talk about that, because somebody might get offended, or somebody might not like watching the show. And, you always have to be worried about who's watching.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many times I heard
carrying out on me in here.
I can't tell you how many times I heard, you never know who's watching. Yeah, I do. Yeah, right. Anybody could be watching. Hell yeah, opinions are meant to be expressed, not muttered under your breath. Yeah, and but at the same time, it's not supposed to be my opinions are more important than your opinions, or my people's opinion over here more important than your opinions over there, because you suck and we don't. That's kind of where we're at as a country right now. Is everybody's done that now? We've just put ourselves in different sides.
I think we've been in a few situations where it's been hard for me. It's been hard for me to keep the level. I feel like there's been a couple times where we've been approached by people or threatened by people, if you will, and yeah, it's a little hard not to cross an emotional line there, but we've still always just been straight with the questions and like, hey, look, And
that's always been this show's policy with the chat is whatever you want to talk about. You come.
Yeah, go right ahead and say it, but
I can say I know propaganda believes the Earth is flat, and I don't agree with him, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that you believe the world is flat. Doesn't bother me one bit.
And I'm not okay that he's okay with that, but that's okay. I think.
Carlin on religion. George Carlin was a very wise man, and it's pretty amazing that man had a career as a comedian where a lot of the stuff that he said wasn't actually funny. He wasn't.
No. He was sometimes he was being outright serious.
Yeah, and I mean his delivery was great, and that's what made it funny. And but a lot of times he was talking about things that were just dead serious, and people laughed. Partly because there's times when he says stuff that kind of is uncomfortable to talk about, the 7 things you can't say on TV, and he
Right.
could rattle these things off. And he would make people uncomfortable by saying that, but it was great, and his delivery was great. But
10
he
people
did
watching. Yeah.
he did have I mean, his whole thing. If you ever have a chance to watch his whole thing about the 10 Commandments, like he condensed the 10 Commandments like down to 3. It's like, okay, well, you kind of break this down because there's a bunch of things that it's kind of just repeating the same thing, and
Right.
it falls in the same category. And it's
You
funny
came
how
into
he delivers
yeah.
it.
Nobody gets out alive, man. Nobody gets out alive.
This show doesn't have a problem until we hit 10 people. The game is rigged. Yeah, I think unfortunately the game is rigged. It's been rigged, and it's rigged against most of us. There's a handful of people that really benefit in how things are done, and the rest of us, basically, we just pay for it. $6.8 trillion.
That's never happened to me in the RC world or in the real world.
$6.8 trillion is the average annual income for federal tax for like the last 6 or 7 years. $6.8 trillion. And we can't manage to spend less than that every year. Partly because we do things like, send over $100 billion to a foreign country who's being invaded by their neighbor. But none of their neighbors give a shit to join in to try and stop it. They're just all sitting over there going, "Hey, are they going to do something? Is somebody going to do something about that? Because those guys are over there invading their neighbors and they're launching. Is somebody going to, the United States is going to throw money at it because that's what we do." Ah, shit, we got 10 viewers. We're in trouble.
I thought his life was short. Yeah, no shit, huh?
Yeah,
The freedom.
When he started getting into the illusion of freedom, that there's basically 3 companies that own all of the media. There's 2 companies that basically own all of the healthcare. There's 4 companies that own all of the pharmaceuticals, and yet you can go into a Starbucks and have 23 different bagels to choose from.
Right. Yes.
Because that's the shit that most people are worried. That's the shit they care about. When I go in a fucking Starbucks, man, I don't know what I'm gonna want today. Maybe I'm gonna want the everything bagel, but tomorrow I may want the poppy seed, and that's important. By the way, Amazon Prime, the last
$6.99 a gallon. Ouch.
Gallon of gas down there, still the tax makes it $6.99 a gallon. In California, if you're in California, you're literally paying 85 cents more a gallon because of the taxes that California adds on, you pay 85 cents a gallon more.
Have a good night, propaganda. Don't fall off the earth.
Hey, take care, propaganda. Have a great rest of your week. We are getting to that time. I was a little concerned that this show was going to be tough, but every time I think that, the 2 hours flies by. I'm sorry, I am coughing. I've been sitting here in front of my air conditioner blowing in my face for like the last 3.5 hours, which is probably a dumb thing to do before getting on a live show to talk for 2 hours. But it was kind of warm today. It was like 80, 85 here today.
Huh.
It's just kind of, because fall is coming. We're going to get that changing of leaves and all of that fun shit. It's coming. And I'm looking forward to that. I grew up in California my whole life, not giving a shit about seasons. California was always like, dude, screw your seasons. Okay. I like the fact that it's still 70 degrees outside on Christmas. That's freaking awesome. I can go surfing on Christmas Day. Now that I live here and it's like, oh, goody. The trees are going to change colors and it's going to be pretty. gonna be pretty outside. My view out my window is gonna be amazing. And maybe on Christmas Day, I might go outside and there's snow on the ground. Ooh, I don't get it.
I'm about
It
to.
changed. Yeah, I
Guys are
got
so funny. This is why the chat is just, you guys are hilarious.
$6.99 a gallon.
Yeah, I about gave up and ordered a Tesla. If you give up and order a Tesla, I'm just gonna laugh at you. I'm just gonna,
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
I
do it
understand.
all. Because that Tesla going to cost you. You get the Model S, that Tesla going to cost you $90,000, and 5 years from now, it's going to cost you $30,000 to replace all the batteries in it. And every 5 years, you're going to be dropping 30 grand on new batteries for that thing. Surf on Christmas. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine Michigan is probably cold on Christmas morning.
Fucking cold as shit. I lived in Minnesota. That was cold enough. Fuck Michigan.
It's the change
You guys
and
are
the
too
culture
close to that
shock
lake.
from moving his. It's been more surprising than anything. I thought there was going to be more. Like when we went to the beach, I kind of thought, I was like, man, I'm probably going to be kind of a little sad. And I miss California. And then I got to the beach and I was like, it's the freaking beach. And guess what? The Atlantic Ocean stinks just like the Pacific Ocean. It smells like rotten seaweed.
It depends on where you're at, though, because I tell you what, you get up near New York and the East Coast, that ocean smells a lot fucking different.
Well, it smells like shit because they pump all their shit into the ocean. But yeah, I mean, I was so not in the frame of mind I thought I was going to be seeing the ocean. Now I've seen the Atlantic Ocean before, but it was like, not seeing the ocean for a couple of years. I kind of thought, oh yeah, but no, there really wasn't any sentimentality to it. And even my wife was like, how can you not? I'm like, I don't really care. It's just water. And I'm not going to go swimming in it because there's things out there that want to eat me. I don't need, I'm going to get sand everywhere. It's going to take me 2 days to get all the sand out of my butt crack and in between my toes and all that other shit. Get the chance of getting fucking eaten by something that has big, sharp teeth. Now, I get that at home. I'm fucking eat by a bear here.
I'll just ride my X-Max to work. I like that, Earl. And then, Dad, oh my God.
Get 2 X-Maxes and strap them to your feet and then use that.
Oh, fuck. How awesome. You need to do it Sean style and just put them on one controller.
Electric rocket shoes.
Wheelie shoes.
I double dog dare you, Earl, to strap 2 X-Maxes to your feet.
I will totally, that's a million view video, right? That's a million view video.
I will, like I said, double dog dare you.
Especially if you eat shit in this video, I guarantee.
Oh, you're going to eat shit, and it's going to be epic. But, I mean, a million views might be understating it, because even Kevin Talbert isn't throwing X-Maxes on you.
I'm just gonna duct tape. I just feel like.
Now, all I can did freaking Kevin Talbot. Did anybody see him flying in the stunt plane?
No.
He got to fly in some dude took him up in a stunt plane.
Was it Reef?
No. He's over in Great Britain. Some British guy. He's like a professional aerobatic. And like he did some aerobatic shit with him in the plane. And dude, screw Kevin Talbot living your best life. Driving your Lamborghini and, moving to Isle Man and getting to fly around in an acrobat plane and all that. Dude, screw you. Get a freaking haircut, crying out loud.
It's just a flesh wound. Oh, you guys are great.
Next video, Earl does the splits because he can't control. Oh, yeah. Earl Earl Moorhead taint damage.
Apparently, I didn't set these in the same direction.
Yeah, you're gonna want to make sure the steering trim is set perfect, because that would be
It's gonna be
Earl Moorhead's second video, the trip to the ER, getting
Yeah.
stitches.
dislocated hips, all kinds of good stuff. You're gonna have fun.
So I expect to see this in the next week, Earl.
God, if I had 2X Maxes, I would do this video. I'm that crazy.
I would film somebody doing that video. Ain't gonna be good results. Oh, 1,000 points to Mr. Brown. Another zinger right there. Oh man. The chat is what makes this show.
Yes, you guys are great.
Because it's every week. It's our chat's very consistently good every week. We don't very rarely have off week here. Speaking of off week,
I tell you what, I'm gonna put up my PayPal link, and if you send me $2,400, I will buy 2X Maxes and tape them to my feet.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to beef up the body a little bit.
I'm just gonna take off the body, right?
And something so that you can put your feet on, so you don't smash everything.
Yeah, you just set your foot on it, and then just fucking tape that sumbitch to your fucking foot.
Get somebody with a roll of duct tape and just go for it.
Yeah.
Get you an old freaking leather football helmet. And maybe like those the shorts that hockey players wear that got like all the super padding in them.
It's not a bad idea.
And you're good to go.
I just feel like a couple couch cushions with some more duct tape.
Hey, I mean, you can go that route even.
Look, this is dollar store shit at this point. Is there Salvation Army where we can buy a used couch? Because
or just the cushions from the couch?
Nah, we'll go ahead and take the whole couch. This will be fun later. Just crash into the couch. What the hell?
Yeah. All right, Earl. I think we got you all set. I think we got you dialed in because I know Earl already has 2X Maxes. So he's already $1,500 ahead here. I mean, we're talking at best you probably a $30 investment here. I mean, what's $30 investment for what could potentially be
a roll of duct tape and somebody
standing
by to laugh at you.
A package of Band-Aids. I mean, you're $30 into this thing, but I mean, you could get. Imagine if you got 5 million views on this thing. You could.
If we see this in the future, it's because it started right here.
You could almost afford to pay the down payment.
Bubble wrap in a football helmet situation. I agree. Or even one of those bubble balls. You just stand inside the ball and put your feet out the bottom.
Yeah.
This is perfect. Blasts off into a tree is.
Well, I mean, Earl's got a good spot to do it too. He's got that industrial complex where he's been filming his speed videos. Where, I mean, he's got a good wide road right there. You know,
I feel like depending on how they strap to your feet or whatever, if you can almost like ride them like kind of a skateboard style, and have one kind of behind the other.
If you did it kind of sideways, yeah, it'd be kind of you could kind of ride it like a snowboard kind of deal. But that wouldn't be quite as good as just like having it strapped to your feet like roller skates.
Yeah,
and then just you definitely got to have it set to you got to do Sean style and have it set to one radio. I'll strap a blow up rubber ducky around my waist.
There you go.
See, Earl's into it. And when Earl becomes internet famous, we can sit here and go, we were the ones. We were the ones. We knew Earl when he had 18,000 subscribers, and we were the one that poked Earl to become the RC Evil Knievel.
Before he started that 501c3 and made all that money, we knew him.
Well, I think we're set. I think we're set for this week. I think we now Earl has some homework for next week's show. We also have a topic for next week's show, which is we're going to be talking about Earl and his X-Max skates, water wings. That's a good one because you want to protect the upper body too.
I mean, the only thing that I'm really worried about here on an X-Max, I guess, is tires and shocks.
That doesn't matter. That you're really not you're not really concerning yourself with that too much.
Well, if you think about it, you're spreading the weight out over 2 X-Maxes. So I mean, as long as
easy peasy, they can handle it no problem. Put some super heavyweight oil in the shocks. Probably like some 80 weight, 90 weight, some stiff springs. All right, it is that time. We've been here. It's 7:30.
It did happen fast.
Man, thank you all for hanging out. Another Wednesday shit that needs to be said show. Again, we have a blast every week doing this. It is a ton of fun. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we'll be seeing you all next Wednesday. And now, that awkward time when we don't know